What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of My Mind is a Weapon podcast. I am your host, Sleazebomb. Today, we are going to be covering my tight end rankings, top 30 heading into the season. I'm not going to go into 32 because I don't think you're going to draft that deep into your draft. There's going to be a lot of them left on the waiver wire when your drafts are over. Before we dive into it, guys, as always, make sure you smash that like and subscribe. All the support is appreciated. And we got to throw out the sponsors here. So the Guys FF Discord will be tagged and pinned in the comments, also in the video description as well. We cover everything for fantasy football for you guys. Me and my partner, Big Draft Energy, literally the entire list. Top 200 redraft dynasty, live chats, trade talks, draft with you, pick'em locks, DFS plays, everything there. And then, of course, if you guys haven't signed up on Drafters, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. It will match your deposit up to $100. You can draft with us. I have a couple best ball drafts here left in the season. And then you can do some pick'ems with us the entire way as well, guys. Now, let's dive into my top 30 tight end rankings for fantasy football 2025. If you guys are new to the channel, this is my tight end board baller tier at the top 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. The 4 and 5 tier, we're probably going to just run through real quick. I'm not really going to explain much. I'm going to give you their tight end strength of schedule and why I like them so much heading into this season for each ranking coming to my tight ends here. And as always, guys, there's the promo code for drafters and the premium Discord down below. And let's get it popping here. Starting off, and it's going to be you're going to be a little shaky on my number 3. But number 1 for me is going to be Trey the King McBride. This man only had 2 touchdowns last year, averaged more points per game than Brock Bowers. And if you look at how they changed their offense in week 5, they started to focus the offense around Trey McBride. So if he would have had a full season with that, he would have smashed, even if he had touchdowns. You know, they could say the Marvin Harrison breakout is coming this year, but the number one thing you have to look at here is the Cardinals have the number 1 easiest tight end schedule on the season as well. Trey McBride is my tight end 1 this season. And number 2 is going to be George Kittle. And the 49ers also have the 6th easiest schedule versus the tight end. And when you're looking at the 49ers wide receiver room right now, it's Ricky Pearsall. You got banged up Juan Jennings. You got Ayuk out till week 6. You got Cowing banged up. Could they look to add Jacoby Myers with the rumors with the Raiders wanting to trade? Possibly. Is that still going to affect Kittle for me? No. This man is going to smash. He was number 1 in points per game last year. Just had a couple injuries. And he has a chance at tight end 1 depending on this 49ers wide receiver room injury. And obviously you see behind me, I'm a Niner fan. Kittle Diddle is my guy. And here we go. Number 3, here comes the controversy. Brock Bowers, the tight end 1 from last year. Now, why am I lower on Brock Bowers this year than last year? Because the freaking Raiders run game, they ran the least amount of run attempts. They had an anemic run game. They played from behind in every single game. The garbage 3rd and Brock was the, main line for the Raiders. Now enter Pete Carroll. Now draft Ashton Genty. Bring in Chip Kelly. They like to run the ball at a 60% rate in their coaching careers. The offensive line revamped a little bit here. They're going to try and control the clock more. Just added Amari Cooper as well. Who knows if Jacoby Myers was traded? Would that open more targets for Brock Bowers? Of course. And Geno Smith's never really targeted a tight end in his career. Obviously, Brock Bowers is a way different specimen than a normal tight end, but I just see a little regression for him. Obviously, he's top 3. He is drafted in round 2, so I'd rather take the value play and get my roster better and take Trey McBride in the 3rd or Kittle in the 4th than even touch Brock Bowers at his high ADP right now. But if you draft him, I'm not against it. I'm just a little lower on him this year. Number 4, here is my dark horse tight end 1. It is going to be Evan Ingram. The Broncos face the 12th easiest schedule against the tight end this season. But what you have to remember here is he was hurt last year. He was tight end 2 and tight end 5 before that. But what you have to look at is Jimmy Graham. Sean Payton has said that he is the Joker role. That is the last tight end he's had. You saw in one preseason game how they utilized him to get him over for a 52-yard catch. I think he's going to out-target Cortland Sutton. I think he's going to be the focal point of this offense. And my God, he is one of the best values in freaking fantasy football this season, and people don't know it. Number 5 is going to be Mark Andrews and the Ravens. They play the 25th hardest or 25th easiest schedule, so lower on the ranking there. But you also have Isaiah Likely out probably week 2, week 3 with the foot, so that's going to stay away from the 12 personnel. They're going to give Mark Andrews a little earlier start here. And you have to remember, the last year he was coming off a car accident. He was injured. Yes, does he carry an injury risk? Yes, everyone knows, and he has diabetes. If he gets hurt, it's always double the recovery time. I get all of that. But this man is still going to be Lamar Jackson's number 1 target. And I just feel like he's undervalued a ton this year, and I think he's still elite. And I think that the Ravens are going to absolutely flourish with Mark Andrews across the middle here this season. Number 6 is going to be Sam Laporta. And you have to realize that last year, Sam Laporta, the entire season, played banged up. So, yeah, were his numbers down? Yeah, do the Lions have a lot of target share to go around with Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Isaac Tesla breaking out, Jahmyr Gibbs lining up in the slot, and how they're going to utilize him in the passing game? Like, all of that is there, yes. But Sam Laporta was a tight end 1 before that, and the injury really hampered him last year. Ben Johnson is out of town. I think they're going to focus more on Sam Laporta as their target number 2 this year instead of Jameson Williams. I'm not buying the coach speak index hype of all the Jameson Williams. And the Lions face the 17th right in the middle of the pack schedule versus the tight end this year. That's it for the baller tier. Heading out of tier 1. And man, this one was tough. I almost put TJ Hawkinson up in the baller tier, right? So TJ Hawkinson last year injured the whole, coming off major injury, came back, played very, very limited. Vikings had the 15th ranked schedule versus tight end, so middle of the pack there. But what you have to look at is you got J.J. McCarthy coming in for his, we can call it rookie year, first year. Obviously, he had an injury last year that derailed his rookie season. But this is going to be his rookie year. But he got to learn the system behind Kevin O'Connell. You got Jordan Addison on a 3-game suspension, who their connection looked great in the preseason. But you also have a security blanket with Justin Jefferson getting doubled. Offensive line got a lot better. They got great players from the Colts. They bring in Jordan Mason for the goal line work. TJ Hawkinson could be the focal point early on in the season and a major factor for a rookie season quarterback with JJ McCarthy, because they like their security blankets. Number 8, man, I like this guy so much. Tyler Warren. It's just the quarterback situation for the Colts, right? 8th easiest schedule versus the tight end. He is going to be the focal point of this passing game. He is better than Pittman, Coleman, Adonai Mitchell. I don't care what anyone says. Tyler Warren is one of the best values along with Evan Ingram in your fantasy football drafts. The Colts face the 8th easiest schedule versus the tight end, so it's good there. They're going to be playing a ton from behind. You could say Danny Dimes is better in there than Anthony Richardson. It's a nightmare with the Colts either way. But what is going to factor in when it's a nightmare is the passing volume across the middle that Tyler Warren is going to feast on, and I absolutely love Tyler Warren this year. Number 9, and man, David Njoku, right? So everyone's hyped up right now because Joe Flacco is named the starting quarterback, which does bump Jerry Jeudy, and it does bump David Njoku up a ton. And we all know that the Browns are not going to be playing from ahead in many games this year. And their schedule versus tight end ranks 18th. But when I'm looking at Njoku, he is on a contract year, which is what you want for your player as a starting tight end. You also have Harold Fannin Jr., who's been getting massive hype from the Browns, the rookie out of Bowling Green that led the NCAA in receiving yards. He'll be utilized as well. But what scares me here and why I'm a little lower on Njoku the most is because at some point that 41-year-old Joe Flacco is not going to be the quarterback, right? So then how's it going to look with Shadur or Dylan Gabriel since they sent Kenny Pickett away in a trade? So, yeah, I still have him top 10 at number 9. I have Harold Fannin at 29. And David Njoku's always had injuries as well, too. So, anything happens to Njoku, then Fannin's going way up. I just don't trust the quarterback situation moving forward once Flacco's time is done here. Number 10 is Tucker Kraft, who absolutely lit up the scene last year when Luke Musgrave went down. Now you have Matthew Golden out there as the wide receiver 1, along to go with Romeo Doubs, who's pretty much just a guy. And the Green Bay Packers last year had literally Jordan Love hampered all year long and leaned on Josh Jacobs and pounded the run. It is going to be a different look this year. The Packers do have a very tough schedule. They rank 31st versus the tight end, which is second worst. I get all of that. But LaFleur knows how to scheme. The Packers will also lean on Tucker Kraft, as you saw in the preseason already. He's going to be their big body across the middle. Golden, not a big guy. Romeo Dobbs, not that big of a guy, kind of a slender guy. His concussions kind of get him hurt. Wicks can't catch. The Packers last year led the NFL in drops at the wide receiver position. So Tucker Kraft is one of the best values to me behind behind Evan Ingram and Tyler Warren. One last dance, baby. Number 11 is going to be Kyle Pitts. And I know if you want to sit there and tell me to stay away, you can stay away if you want. I get all of that. You got Darnell Mooney banged up. The Falcons have the 21st schedule versus the tight end. Drake London is going to feast. But when you saw the numbers last year when Michael Penix entered, because Kirk Cousins looked like an absolute shell of himself, Penix came in and the utilized air yards for freaking Kyle Pitts were through the roof. And when Mooney's banged up, you might get massive, massive return here if they can just figure out how to utilize this guy's talent, man. He's so goddamn talented. I'm in it for one last dance. I like Kyle Pitts at number 11 this season. I think he's going to have his best year since his rookie year. Number 12, the most underrated tight end. Sometimes he goes undrafted. It's absolutely crazy. Zach Ertz was tight end 7 last year, and he's not even going off the board till literally late in your drafts. Now you have the Commanders, and what do? They bring in Deebo Samuel. They also just got Terry McLaurin signed, so that's going to help across the middle with Zach Ertz. Now, obviously, Brian Robinson out of town, Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt, Austin Eckler, however that running back room's going to play out. And, man, people are drafting Merritt really, really high. But the Commanders have the 19th schedule versus the tight end. Zach Ertz is still going to be the security blanket. They've called him the quote-unquote cheat code in camp and preseason. So you have to love all of that, and I can't believe this man goes undrafted. He is still a Tier 1 tight end for me. Heading on to Tier 2, number 13, Dalton Kincaid. And when you look at the Bills, they have a very tough schedule versus the tight end. This is their worst part of their schedule, ranking 26th. But you also have to look at him kind of like Sam Laporta last year. Dalton Kincaid played hurt all year long. And now you get Keon Coleman due for a breakout, bulking up. You got Khalil Shakir still. They bring in Joshua Palmer. You got James Cook signed. You still got Ray Davis. They're favored in every single game this season. I really think Dalton Kincaid's another one of those values in the middle. And when you have the most expected points for your team on the season, that's what you like for fantasy points. Now, you could say they blow them out, but still, by the time they blow them out, they'll have 35 plus points. So I really like Dalton Kincaid at value this year, as well as Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you followed my content last year, I loved Jake Ferguson a lot. Obviously, injuries derailed him. Now I've dropped him down a little bit because they did bring in George Pickens to go along with CeeDee Lamb. But you have to know the Cowboys aren't going to be running the ball much this year. I mean, Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jadon Blue, I feel a full passing attack coming. Their offensive line got a little better, but still they have a very, very, very tough schedule. They rank 32nd versus tight end, dead last, so it's going to be tough sledding. But when you have CeeDee Lamb and Pickens on the outside, the middle of the field should be open all day for Ferguson. Number 15, the rookie out of Michigan, top 10 pick, Colston Loveland. And a lot of people are high on Colston Loveland. I'm not as sold. I know you're in the Ben Johnson system. I know Ben Johnson also had Sam Laporta as tight end 1 as a rookie. I mean, if I were them, I'd have drafted Tyler Warren, but obviously I'm not the GM of the Bears. But there's just too many mouths to feed here. I mean, when you have DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, Luther Burden, DeAndre Swift also catches 50 balls out of the backfield. It's just, he's going to be so touchdown dependent. I've been staying away from all the Bears except for Caleb Williams this year just for this situation. But the Bears do have a top 5 easiest schedule, number 5 versus tight end this season. Number 16 is going to be Dallas Goedert, and I haven't drafted this guy in years, and it's not going to happen this year. I'm still going to put him at tight end 16. Again, it's another situation kind of like Colston Loveland. You got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley. They run the ball at a massive rate. If A.J. Brown gets hurt or Devonta Smith gets hurt, that's the only way I'd really target Dallas Goedert. But I'm just staying away from all the Eagles this year. It's just not my type with them coming off the Super Bowl. I think they're going to have a hangover. And I got the hiccups, and I think it's going to be a really, really, really bad Eagles season offensively. And it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be tush-push led. And they rank number 20th versus tight end. I'm staying away either way from Dallas Goedert. Now, number 17, I'm a lot higher than others on this guy, Brenton Strange. Now, Brenton Strange, Jaguars, they face the 23rd toughest schedule, so tougher sledding there. But when you got BTJ and Travis Hunter as well, and a Liam Cohen offense, the middle of the field is going to be wide open for Brenton Strange. And Brenton Strange is super undervalued in drafts. This offense is going to be flourishing. Trevor Lawrence is going to bounce back. And they need to figure out their running back situation. But Brenton Strange and the Jaguars, man, this is an awesome situation for him to be in. He's very undervalued in drafts. Yep, number 18. You can yell at me all you want. Travis Kelce. I'm not buying it. I'm not drafting it. I don't care about Rashee Rice. I don't think this guy cares about football. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to use him like the old Travis Kelce. Look at last season. Yeah, he was still up there in the top rankings. This man's a year older. The Swifties doing movies. I am not drafting Travis Kelce at ADP. If you want to, that is between you and Jesus. I am staying away from him no matter what this season, but he is my tight end 18. Now we're heading down to the late tight ends here. So number 19, Hunter Henry. Could he be the focal point for Drake May? You know, you got Stephon Diggs ready for week 1. They get Kyle Williams in the draft. You know, Pop Douglas out there. Chisholm is balling as well, too. Patriots do have a, sorry, these hiccups are killing me, advantageous schedule versus tight end at number 7. And I think Hunter Henry could be kind of like, you know, like a Chigakonkwo sleeper tight end like the Titans have. Second option, you know, because Drake May, you know, he only played like half the season last year, so his security blanket connection could grow with Henry. Same kind of thing with Chigakonkwo here, right? And, you know, these last tight ends, these are late picks, but we're going to rank them all out. And Chigakonkwo could be the second option behind Calvin Ridley. So it just depends on Cam Ward. They found a little secret sauce with Chig last year. You know, he was tight end 5 down the stretch. Obviously, they're not going to play much games from ahead, so the passing volume from behind is what you look for, which is nice. But, you know, again, this is late round tight ends. If you want to take the shot, he's most likely going to be on your waiver wire. The Titans face the 16th toughest schedule versus the tight end this season. Number 21, Jonnu Smith. I have no idea how it is going to play out in a Arthur Smith system, which is why Pat Freiermuth is at 26. Could you see a lot of 12-team personnel? Jonnu Smith was tight end 4 last year, mainly in garbage time with the Dolphins, just feasting. Now, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, does he stay healthy all year long at age 41? How does the Arthur Smith offense look with these two guys in 12 personnel sets? I'm staying away from either one of them. I know Jonnu sometimes falls very far in redraft value. Still not a guy I'm touching this year. Pat Freiermuth also comes in at 26. And Pat Freiermuth has been the talk of camp as their secret weapon. Still not buying that either. Number 22, Cade Otton. Now, this one's a little more interesting. So, Josh Grizzard, the new OC in town for Tampa. Will Mike Evans stay healthy? Will Ibuka stay healthy? When will Godwin be back? McMillan will be back week 10. Cade Otton could give you some real value at tight end. He's just never that guy that's like sexy, you feel safe to start. So I'm ranking him at 22. I mean, he was on the waiver wire in our 14-man draft when the draft was over. So, I mean, again, these are late tight ends. If injuries derail the Bucs really bad at wide receiver position, he could pop off like he did last year. He had a 3-game stretch where he went absolutely nuclear. Obviously, the chemistry is growing with Baker Mayfield a little more. And when you're looking at the Buccaneers here, they rank 11th, or they're the number 11th easiest schedule versus tight end. Number 23, we talked about the Ravens. Isaiah Likely out for 2 to 3 weeks. Forgot about that. Number 24 is kind of like a Chigakonkwo situation here. Mason Taylor, the rookie out of LSU. Now, you got Garrett Wilson, and pretty much Garrett Wilson. So could Mason Taylor find some value out there? You know, he had a preseason injury to start off, and then people started to panic. Sure, you could. You know, Justin Fields never really been a tight end guy either with the scrambling, but Mason Taylor is more of an athlete at tight end than people think. So he could be, you know, raising up my boards here. He is a sleeper of mine. Again, these guys are late, most likely not drafted in your drafts. Now, these last 4 players here, we're going to roll through real quick because these guys are on your waiver wire for sure. Jatavion Sanders, I do like for a breakout with the Panthers. Dalton Schultz coming in at number 27. I'm not really touching him. Mike Gesicki coming in at 28. He also has, Noah Fant signed to the Bengals. Who knows how that situation plays out? Don't love it there. And Jawan Johnson coming in at 30 for the Saints. I do like his situation, but the Taysom Hill, who knows what's going on there? I'm just staying away from the Saints, man, unless it's Olave or Shaheed this season or Kamara. I don't feel like I'm going to be touching Jawan Johnson much, even if Tyler Shuck is out there looking for a security blanket as a rookie quarterback. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the video. That is my top 30 tight end rankings. My next video is going to be defense and kickers top 10. We're also going to be live tonight doing a best ball stream at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 of them for 500K if you guys want to pop in there. As always, guys, help your boy out. Smash that like and subscribe. All the support's appreciated. If you have any questions as well, drop them in the comments. I try to answer every single one of them. If you want, again, the guys' Discord is there as well, pinned in the comments and in the description. And, of course, if you guys have not signed up on Drafters, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Sleaze Bomb out.